Namaste everyone. I am once again very happy to see you all here for Bhagavatam session. So before going to Bhagavatam, we will chant some slokams. We will invocate. So prayers before doing Bhagavatam. Om Shuklam Vardharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigno Bashantaye. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaham Guruve Sarva Lokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nidhiye Sarva Vidyanam Saddakshinamurtaye Namaham Tennadudiya Periyava Potri Ennattavarkum Iraiva Potri Sarvajna Sarvavyabi Periyava Charanam Maya Perapparkum Maha Periyava Adi Potri. Om Janmadhyasya Yato Anmayadidarataschaharteshu Abhignyaha Swaratam Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Surayah Tejo Vari Mridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Damna Svena Sadha Nirasta Guhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripadamaham Mande Paramahananda Madhavam. So it has been very long time since we met, and today we will again start Bhagavatam. Like we'll continue this Bhagavatam. So we have seen Dhruva Charitram. So far we have seen Dhruva Charitram up to Dhruva Charitram in Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, this is the record of Bhagavad Katha. That is the stories or the topics of the past times of the Lord, the glories of the Lord. What, what Vidura was anxious to hear from Maitreya, so we can also hear 5,000 years later, provided we are very much eager to hear this Bhagavatam. So this Bhagavatam was told by Sukacharya to Parikshit as Vidura Maitreya Samvadam. That is the dialogue between Vidura and Maitreya. So this was again told by Sukacharya to Saunakadigal, and this is a kramam, this is a pattern. See which we get. So now Sukacharya is telling about the progenies of Dhruvan. So the great sage Maitreya here said, in the voice of Sukacharya, it is said like the great sage Maitreya said to Vidura, when Maharaja Dhruvan departed for the forest, after departed for the forest, then his son Utkalan, he has got a son called Utkalan, and he wanted to make Utkalan as a king, but Utkalan did not desire to accept the throne, of his father, which was meant for the ruler of which was meant for the ruler of all the whole lands of this planet. From his very birth, this Utkalan was fully satisfied person. Like, satisfied person means he is unattached to the world. He is completely a Mahajnani. By birth itself, he is a Mahajnani, this Utkalan. He was very, he was very equipoised, for he could see everything resting in the Lord. So this symptoms and characteristics of Utkalan are those of Mahajnani. So those are the symptoms of Mahajnani. So he was always situated in that in that position of self-realization, and he could not see anything else but the Supreme Lord. So he is in that position. So he is full of vairagyam. So he appeared to be a mad person. He appeared to be a dumb person, or appeared to be a less intelligent person. Like a dumb and a mad. Although actually he was not so. He was not actually so, because the person who got vairagyam cannot operate this mundane world, this kind of mundane world. Again, so it's like one cannot take the vomit. For example, one cannot take the vomit and eat again, even though it's very, it's like a payasam or a sweet. So for this reason, so the ministers and all the elders of the family in the Dhruva kingdom, they thought, Utkalan is not fit. Like Utkalan is without intelligence, and in fact, they thought that he was a madman. He's a madman. So thus the younger brother of Utkalan, his name was Vatsara. Vatsara, who was the son of Dhruvan and Brahmi. Dhruvan's wife's name is Brahmi, and was, this Vatsaran was junior to Utkalan, and he was elevated to the royal throne, and he became the king of the world. This Vatsaran became the king of the world. So the Vatsaran ruled, the Vatsaran ruled for 16,000 years. 16,000 varsham. So 16,000 years, because of the devotion to the Lord in the family, they lived for long years. So after this Vatsaran, his son Pushparnan ruled, and Pushparnan left the kingdom to his son Viyushtan and went to the forest. This Viyushtan ruled for many years and gave the kingdom to his son Sarvatejan. Now the Sarvatejan was a most powerful king. He gave his kingdom to his son Sakshu, who became the sixth Manu at the end of the Manu millennium. So Sakshu gave birth to the son Ulmukan. Ulmukan was the son of Sakshu, who ruled for many years and gave his kingdom to his son Angan. So now, once a great king, this Angan arranged. This Angan became the king of now the Angan became the king of the world now. See, these are all the Dhruva dynasty. Dhruva's progeny, Dhruva's son, great son, grandson, like that. So now what happened is the Angan. Now Angan is ruling the kingdom, but he doesn't have any progeny. That is, he doesn't have any issues. So he arranged to perform a great yajnam called Ashwamedha Yagam. Great Yagam called Ashwamedha Yagam. All the sages and Brahmanas present there, they all know how to invite the, demigods or the devatas. But in spite of their effort, doing the yagam, you give some offerings to the devatas. You give offerings to the demigods, but no demigods came to receive the offerings. So what happened is the priests engaged in this yagam, said that all the paraphernalias and everything was okay. Everything was, was done according to the rules, and according to the, the offerings are done accordingly, and with the great faith, with great faith and care, and it was all being executed properly. But no demigods came and no devatas came to accept the offerings. So they said that we could not find any reason why the devatas are neglecting the offerings. They're neglecting the sacrifices. We do not know why is it so. So Angan was greatly aggrieved. Angan was greatly sad. He couldn't tolerate that. He was so sad, and he asked for the reason. And to the head priest, there will be a head priest there doing this yagam, isn't it? So he asked the head priest about this. The head priest said, see, you have not done any sinful activities, but during your previous birth, you have done some sinful activities, which is why you don't have any son. So therefore, the same papam or sin of which you have no son, the same sin makes the devatas to neglect the offerings. They refuse to take the offerings or accept the offerings. But don't worry. See, we will do some ishti. We'll do some other yagam, some other yajnam or yagam, and therefore they, for the sake of son of King Angan, they had decided to offer oblations to Lord Vishnu, who is the Supreme Lord, isn't it? Vishnu is the Supreme Lord for them. So they started doing yagam, ishti, for getting a son for Angan, King Angan. Because of the, because of this Vedam and Veda mantram, they got a child. It's a male child. But what happened was, Angan got a child. Now Angan got a child, but Angan's, his wife's side, Angan's wife's name is Sunita. Sunita's side, in the Sunita's, father, mother and all, they don't have a male progeny. So the progenies of the queen, there was no progeny on the queen's side also. So the child born to Angan and Sunita is the only child for both of the families. See, but the queen's father, this is the maternal grandfather of this child, is not a good person. So he was a very irreligious person. So the boy has been, partially in the dynasty of the irreligion, isn't it? Now we call all the DNA and all we are testing. So that's why they are asking for a kulam, gotram and all. Why they are asking for kulam and gotram, or what kulam you belong? That means what punyam you have. This family, once when somebody is going to get married to somebody, then they ask for kulam, gotram and all. What punyam you have done. See, in those families, they have got some punyam. And this adds to the progenies of their in this family, isn't it? So the boy was been partially in the dynasty of the irreligion also. So since the grandfather, that is a maternal grandfather, he doesn't have any progeny. He asked Angan that I will take the baby for few years and I will grow the baby for few years. I will have this. So this grandfather grew up this baby. Now the baby became the follower of that grandfather, and this baby became so irreligious person. So what happened? The grandfather thought, the maternal grandfather taught this baby all the nastikam. Nastikam means hatred to God, hatredness in God. Nastikams to the small boy. So all the abhishekams, or homams, or archanas, or all the pujas, all these things are fake. So don't believe in that. Okay? That's what he taught. This grandfather taught to the small boy. So you don't have to believe in God. But actually, that's what he gave him some practice for the small baby. See, it's like, see, the good thing is like practicing a horse. So because the advice given by the grandfather, the boy became completely arrogant, misbehaved, and inhuman. So when he was even 5 to 6 years of old, 5 to 6 years old boy, the boy came to the parents. When he was 5 to 6 or 6 years, he came back to the parents from his grandfather. This cruel boy, what he will do is, he used to go to the forest and unnecessarily he used to kill the innocent animals. Innocent animals he used to kill. And as soon as he come, all the people will cry. Like, here comes the cruel Venan. So he was called as Venan. So here comes the cruel Venan. So everyone will get scared. All the people there will get scared of this Venan. So the boy Venan was so cruel that while playing with the young boys, even with the young boys at his age itself, he would kill them very mercilessly because he enjoys killing. He's like a psycho, He enjoys killing as if they were all animals meant for slaughter. He used to kill those other children. So after seeing this, cruel and merciless behavior of his son Venan, King Angan punished him in different ways to reform him. But he was unable to bring him into the right path of gentleness. So he thus became again gravely sad. He became so sad. And then once he wanted a son, but now he thinks, he thought to himself, like person who have no son are certainly fortunate. Previously, he was thinking that he wanted to have a son, but now because of the behavior of his son, he thought to himself like the person who has no son is very, very fortunate. They are all very fortunate. They must have worshipped the Lord in the previous life so that they would not have to suffer this unbearable, unhappiness caused by the bad son. He also thought in another way also. What he thought was, a bad son is better than a good son because for one reason, a good son, if a good son always a good son creates an attachment, attachment for home. Whereas this bad son, does not create any attachment. A bad son creates, a hellish home, from which an intelligent person naturally becomes very easily detached. So this is one of the reasons that he praised himself to have a, bad son. This is not so, but this is not, the Shastram doesn't teach this, but Angan is thinking like that. So thinking like that, King Anga, this Angan could not sleep at night. He became completely, indifferent to the household life. And, therefore, what happened once in the midnight, in the dead of the night, he get up from the bed and left the Venan's mother, Sunita, his wife, his own wife, who was sleeping deeply, and he gave up all the, he gave up all this attractions in the sense that attractions in the form of his, the whole kingdom, all the gems, diamonds and everything, and he left everything. This is a very opulent kingdom, and he left everything and he went out. Very silently he gave up his home and proceeded towards the forest. So in the morning after waking up, when it was understood that the king had left indifferently. So left home, all the citizens, priests and ministers, friends and people in general were greatly sad. They began to search him all over the world. See, it is said in Bhagavatam, just as a person who searched the Lord, everywhere when the Lord is here in the same, in the soul himself, the soul of, the same soul is the Lord. Isn't it? We don't have to search everywhere, but we are searching the Lord everywhere. That is how they searched everywhere. This is a slight example given in the Bhagavatam shloka. So even after searching everywhere, they couldn't find the king. But a kingdom needs a king. The kingdom should not be without a king, isn't it? So even though they disliked Venan, but they made him as a king because Venan is the son of the king Angan, isn't it? So Venan became a king. So as soon as he became a king, this Venan became a king, this cruel Venan passed the first bill. The bill said there should be no yajnam or yagams. He stopped all kinds of religious rituals. He even insulted the sages and, mahans and sadhus. He even insulted them. See, he said that why the marriages are being held, the marriage, all the brothers and sisters, they themselves can marry, they themselves can marry each other. All the brahmanas and forbidden to perform this yagam or yajnam. So he became so cruel. He scolded all the Mahangals. And he said that I am the God. See, he said, I am the God, I am visible, do yajnam or yagam, and I am the yajna purushan. See, I am visible, see, you are doing yajnam and yagam to some Lord who is invisible. So who is the yajna purushan then? King Venan said, O Brahmanas, you should abandon your envy of me and by your ritualistic activities, and you should worship me and offer obeisance to me and not to any Lord. When Venan abused the god, all the Mahangals or Rishis got angry and they did Humkaram. Humkaram means the foolish king once thought, who thought himself to be a very learned. This Venan thought himself to be a very learned, insulted all the great sages. And the great sages, they cried to kill him because he is the most dreadful and sinful person, isn't it? And this, what to say, that is this impious and impudent man does not deserve to sit on the throne, and he cannot rule the kingdom, and he cannot do all this unritualistic things. So thus, without using any weapons, they never used any weapons. The sages and all, they never used any, without using any weapons. The sages killed Vena simply by Hunkar. Hunkar means by high sounding words like like that. So King Venan was already already as good as dead because due to this blasphemy against this Lord. So after all the sages returned to their respective hermitages, the mother of King Vena, the Sunita, her name is Sunita, she became so much aggrieved because of her son's death. She decided to preserve the dead body of her son by the application of certain ingredients and by some mantra. How did she know? Because, when she was so young, when she was a small girl, one sage, he came to the kingdom, and this Sunita, she did all, she was so humble to the sage, and she was doing all the service to the sage, and the sage became very happy. And the sage told them this mantra. The sage taught this mantra to Sunita, and he told that it will be useful. Some other day it will be useful for you. And she also by-hearted this mantra. She did not know the usage of the mantra, but she simply by-hearted this mantra. But at this point of time, now she can use that mantra, and she preserved the dead body of her son by the application of this mantra. So when Sunita did all these things, now what happened is, now the kingdom is without king. Now the kingdom is without king, and when the king is gone, what happened to the kingdom? All the robberies, theft, murderers, so many illegal activities, happened because of the lack of the ruler in the kingdom. So all the sages and all the saintly person, wanted to take some steps to relieve the situation, to revive the situation for want of king. So everything was being, disturbed, and, it was all turned, topsy-turvy. It was all turned down, upside down. So the sages decided that the descendants of the family, the descendants of the family of the saintly king Angan should not be stopped, because Angan is a very good person. Angan is a very good person. He is the progeny of Dhruva family, and he is a very good person, and it should not get stopped. Because in this family, this seminar was very powerful, and the children were prone to become the devotees of the Lord. Isn't it? So they came when they were searching for a king, when they were all worried and they were all, trying to make some decisions. this Sunita came there and she silently, she slowly spoke to all the sages, that she said that she has preserved the dead body of her son. And when the sages bless him, and something they can do with all the mantrams and yagam or yajnam or anything, with that, this, you can do anything with the son. If it is useful for you, then you can take it. So they came to know about the body preserved by the queen. And after, after making a decision, the saintly persons and the sages, they want to bring the dead body, the son, the Venan's dead body, and they started, the sages, by doing mantrams, they started churning the thighs of the dead body of this very Venan, Venan, with a great force. As a result of this, churning, what happened? A dwarf-like person, a small dwarf-like person, he came, and he was, he was born from the King Venan's body. The person born from the King Venan's thighs was named as a Bahuka, and his complexion was as black as crow, and his arms and legs, they were short. His nose was flat, eyes was red in color, and his hair is copper colored. So he was very, and he was also, he behaved in such a way that is very submissive and meek, and after his birth, what happened is this dwarf, he bowed down and and inquired, "Sirs, what shall I do, sir?" So the great sages replied, "What is this? Please sit down. Please sit down, Nishada, thus Nishada." So the father of Nishada's race, was born. This Nishadas took all the sinful activities of Venan. So consequently, they were only allowed to live in the hills and forest. So now what happened is, then again, the great sages and the Brahmanas churned the two arms of King Venan's body, and as a result, what happened? A male and a female couple came out of both the arms of his arms. So there were the amsam, a couple came, and those were the amsam of Sakshat Narayana and Mahalakshmi. They were called, they are Prithu and Archis. Now, King Prithu is an incarnation of Sakshat Mahavishnu, Sakshat Narayana, and Archis is an incarnation of Mahalakshmi. So all the devas like, Vayu, Indran, Dharman, Agni, Brahma, Saraswati. So Lord Vishnu, Shiva presented, so many gifts to this couple who came out of Venan's body, Venan's arm. They offered gifts and a lot of flowers. They offered flower garlands to them, because of this king Prithu, the whole earth is called Prithvi. Because of this King Prithu only. So, because King Prithu has to work so hard, to bring Dharmam to the earth, as Venan and her father, has turned everything upside down. Venan, his father, the Prithu's father, Venan, has, put everything topsy-turvy and upside down, and they have to bring back the Dharmam again. They have to invite Dharmam to all the people. So with these hardships, Dharmam, prevailed in the earth once again. Once again, the Dharmam prevailed in the yet because of this Prithu and Archis. See, it was told that during this his reign, once he was taking bath in Gangadiram, this Prithu, he met Sanakadigal. Sanakadigal, that is Sanat Kumaras. He felt very happy. This Prithu became very happy and welcomed the great sages to his, kingdom. He said, "I have done so much of punyam. That's why Mahangal like you are here in my house. So we have to welcome Mahangal, We should have some punyam to welcome Mahangal to our home. So Prithu, he welcomed Mahangal. It means this Sanakadigal to his palace. But Sanakadigal said, it is our blessing. It is our blessing that we met you. And they gave upadesams to the king. Like the king asked the Shastra Saram of Shastram, by which one can enjoy the transcendental bliss. So they said, always keep in mind, always keep your mind only on the Paramatma. Only on the Paramatma. You have to act as if you have to act in this whole world, as if you like so many things. You like other things in the world, but actually you have to think Paramatma only. Inside, you have to think Paramatma only. So King Prithu did so many yagams and yajnams. In the yagam, the Supreme Lord came directly and asked, what do you want? So, but King Prithu said, here, I want to have ears throughout my body. Because I want to have ears throughout so that I can hear the glories, hear the glories of the Lord always. I can hear the Puranams. That is why, it is said that, the easy way, very, very easy way to attain the Lord is Bhagavad Kathāśravaṇam. You don't have to strain yourself. You have just to sit and hear. That's it. You don't have to do puja. You don't have to by heart some slokams, some, difficult mantrams and all. Just sit, hear, Shravanam. That's why Shravanam is the first thing. Shravanam is hearing to Bhagavad Katha stories. Like, Bhagavad Katha, Puranams and all, Charitrams and all, glories of the Lord, you have to hear. By hearing itself, you will start dwelling in the Lord's glories. And once you started dwelling, the Lord will impose, or the Lord will give jnanam to us easily. Very easily, to know him very easily. So this is the Prithu's Charitram. Prithu's Charitram. Then after this, after telling Prithu's Charitram, Sukacharya, he told the Charitram of Prachina Barihasa. So we will stop this and we will start about the Prachina Barihasa in the next session. And we will meet in the next session for, Prachina Barihasa stories, further stories. We will see further stories of Bhagavatam and we will stop here and we will chant Purnamadam here and we will stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamami Nameva Vasishyati. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.